Hi folks, here we have another favourite of mine, the good old Jack by the Hedge or garlic mustard. So here it is. If you have a wee look at the flowers, just a wee cluster of flowers. Flowers themselves are cross shaped, just in the shape of a cross. It's hard maybe to pick up with the video, but they have 6 stamens and they have 4 long stamens and 2 short stamens. The leaves themselves are heart shaped or kidney shaped. And just make out the kidney shape ones lower down the plant, and then like a heart shape or arrow shape, as some people describe them. But it has very round, jagged edges. To use it in salads. Young leaves, lovely in a salad, just chopped up finely and put into a salad. Very mild garlicky flavour, bit of olive oil, balsamic vinegar, make up a dressing, and they're absolutely gorgeous mixed in with a salad. Flowers, seeds, leaves, all are edible, as well as the roots. One thing to note that whenever it does get very warm and hot, well, we don't get that very warm and hot in Ireland, but whenever it does, the leaves tend to get a bit more bitter. So you're best getting them early spring. Another point to note is the actual root itself. The roots are excellent for making a substitute for horseradish sauce. However, you need to collect the root themselves in early spring, just when you first see the plant, or then in late autumn when it has died back and you know where it has been. But you try not to collect many of the stringy roots. You need the bulbous roots. And what I'll do is I'll just put a wee recipe up of about how you can make wild garlic or Jack by the Hedge substitute for horseradish sauce. There we go, Jack by the Hedge. Smells lovely. The next wild edible on the walk today, we've come across wild strawberry. So here's wild strawberry. So as you can see, the little wild strawberry flower, 5 petals, and then you have the petal bracts in between each of the petals. The leaf themselves are 3 lobes with a serrated edge. Now the thing about them is, what I tend to do is when I see them this time of year, I record it where I've spotted them, and then come then sort of the middle of the summer, start of August, mid-August, I come then and collect them. And that is your little wild strawberry flower, little wild strawberry plant. Right, the next edible here now is a very common one that you all probably know, and it is, of course, the dandelion. Dandelion, a plant very common as a weed in your garden, but again, some great uses. Young plant, and again, it's an acquired taste. I suppose it's like being an Irishman. It was the acquired taste of drinking my first pint of Guinness. It's very similar to eating your dandelion leaves, but I do take them in a lovely salad, toss them up, do up a nice dressing, sort of like with the garlic mustard. So I make up the dressing of balsamic vinegar, olive oil, lemon juice, and even a wee bit of honey. Make up a nice dressing and toss them into it. The other good part of a dandelion is actually the roots themselves. The roots are a great substitute for coffee. You collect the roots, and what you do with them then is you dry them out in an oven, dry roast them in an oven until they become brittle. You break them down, mush them up into a fine powder, and just use it like a coffee. And I have to say, it is a very good coffee, a good substitute. Now, it's not your Cafe Nero quality, but it is a coffee, and it's definitely drinkable. Also, what you can do with the root is you can actually take the root, chop it very finely, a cup of roots to a tablespoon of oil, stir fry it, and then add in a wee bit of chicken stock, And what that'll do then is that tenders it down until it becomes nice and soft, until most of the water has evaporated, and then add in a wee bit of soya sauce and mix that in with your stir fry. And so the root of dandelions, coffee, stir fry, beautiful, and then the leaves themselves are great in a salad. I suppose one thing to note is it is a diuretic, so you know, don't be taking too much or you'll be peeing all night, right? So your common dandelion. Right, our next plant now is one of my old favourites, because it was the very first plant that I learned to recognise many years ago, and it's called Meadowsweet. And here we have the Meadowsweet. If you notice the very dark green leaves, but then when you turn them over, it's slightly silvery, and it's covered with fine hairs, which is really hard to pick up there. The leaves are divided into pairs of leaflets, as you can see the whole way down the leaf. The plant itself grows, but it sort of has to be moist ground. But one thing about it, what I like about it is the aroma of it. Now this time of year it's only a young plant, but come sort of June, July and August, you'll see it flowering into a lovely white flower. The plant itself, all parts are edible. The fresh new leaves, as I said, this time of year, they make a great tea substitute, but can be added into the soups and sauces. But what you'll find is, and again I'll do videos maybe later on in the year with the flowers. The flowers have a lovely sweet flavour and are great to add into some of the more tart tasting fruits like rhubarb and cooking apples, gooseberries, that type of stuff, and I just add that sweetness to it. But this is what it's called. It's called Meadowsweet. Right, the next one now is Hawthorn, which is a tree, and one of the trees that I do enjoy in early spring about eating the leaves of it, and it has a lot of abundance all year round. But if we'll go just through the hawthorn now. Here we have the hawthorn itself, and one thing here, if I just take down, is the flowers. You know, beautiful little white flowers from the hawthorn. The flowers themselves, once they come onto the tree, they can only last about a week. Well, 7 days to 10 days before they sort of die off, depending on the weather. But the flowers are great to be used in puddings and to be used in the likes of a fruit salad, to just add that wee bit of sweetness and flavour. So you can still get a couple of young fresh hawthorn leaves, which they're still good. Not as good as they would be a couple of weeks ago, but they're still good to eat. Also, sort of around September, October time, the tree is full of wee red berries, and they're known as hawberries, and they're great for making jams and preserves. So the hawthorn tree as a whole, between the flowers, the leaves and the berries, all edible. Hawthorn. Right, the next plant I have here now is rose bay willow herb, or fireweed. So I'll just give you a wee look at it. So this is it here. This is the rose bay willow herb. The thing about it is, see, when it's young like this, the leaves are absolutely gorgeous. Can be tossed into a salad. They're very mild in flavour, but then as they get older, like most, they turn bitter. Other good point about the rose bay is that the young shoots themselves can be steamed, and they actually taste like a sort of like a poor man's asparagus. The inner of the stem itself can be broken up and put in, and it's a great thickener for soups. We point to note feature, because there's lots of different willow herbs about, but it's the actual leaf itself. So what you can see is, if you look at the leaf, you can see where the veins go up, and it comes like in a circle the whole way along. So it's as if the veins of the leaf don't go to the end, to come up and they meet, and it just travels along the edge of the leaf, the veins, and it's only the rose bay willow herb that has that. But as I said, just great to eat. Another one we found on the path is called Ribwort plantain, or narrow-leaf plantain, and I'll give you a wee look at it here now. Here's the Ribwort plantain. The leaves themselves taste very bitter. However, it has some tremendous medicinal features. You know, they say that the leaves of the Ribwort are antifungal, antihistamine, antioxidant, and even a mild antibiotic. Used for years and years to combat for nettle stings, insect bites, any of those type of things at all. We could chew the plant up and apply it to it much better than the dock leaf. As for the edibility of it, is you see the flower heads themselves. So just when they turn brown, as you see, this has started to go brown now, but before they fully dry out, you can collect these flower heads and make a stock. An actual stock from them is a very mild mushroomy flavoured stock, which is actually quite nice. So Ribwort plantain. I suppose the other common thing is, or a note about it is, between it and the broadleaf plantain is they used to call it the white man's footprint, because everywhere where the white man walked in America, the Native Americans would always say, "Ah, white man's footprint," and it was the seeds under the soles of the shoes, and wherever they walked, the seeds took root on the bare ground. So, Ribwort plantain.